Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to draw a kingfisher. I will use Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils and some Caran pencils. I'm Rebecca and my aim is to help you improve your drawing skills. If this is the first time watching my video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, click on the bell and turn on the notification, and you are gonna learn more about drawing techniques and tips. So let's get straight onto this video. First, I erase the graphite line lightly because I don't want to see the graphite line under the colors. Be careful not to erase the lines completely. After that, I draw the shadowed part with the black pencil. When we draw the eye, we should try to avoid coloring the lighter parts. I'm just drawing the shadowed parts. You don't need to hurry with the drawing process and don't need to push harder the pencil because it's only just the first layer, and later I will use acid solvent to blend the colors. If we watch the reference photo carefully, we can realize that there is a little red color on the beak. So I just added this color with a Polychromos red pencil. When you're working on the feathers, make sure that you look at the direction that they are going in because it's really important to make a realistic drawing. So when I colored all of the shadow parts, I'm going to add the colors. I am going to start by adding a base layer of the middle fairy blue, just a really light layer. I'm adding this color where I can see it on the reference photo. Then I'm using the cobalt green and again the black. You need to be very patient when you build the layers. Drawing with colored pencils is a very slow process. But if we make a mistake, we can correct it easily with an eraser. We also need to build many layers before we use the solvent because if we don't build enough layers, then we don't get the proper result. I also use the dark cadmium orange Polychromos pencil. And I try to deepen the shadows with a little brown color where it is necessary. I blend the colors with white pencil, but also be careful not to push the pencil too strong, just slightly. So now I will use acid solvent to blend the colors with a brush. The drawing starts to look like as a paint when we use a solvent. There are many different solvents in the art shops. If it's not available in your country, you can use other solvents as well. Just need to try which one is the best for you or for your drawing. We need to wait for the drying at least 20 minutes. After that, we can continue the drawing process. I'm using the white Caran pencil because with this pencil I can easily add the light parts. As well as using pointed pencils are very important because with them we can draw the small details. Then I'm going in with the Polychromos black pencil to deepen the shadow parts. So when I draw feathers, I like using pointed pencils and make the feathers step by step, drawing little lines. And I like to draw these lines with different colors, as well as I add this black color, but I also use blue colors over the black, and I'm also darkening the beak and the eye as well. Sometimes I added some solvents to the drawing where I feel I need to use more, and I try to skip that wet part and drawing the other sections of the drawing, and this wet part can dry in that time. I use blue and turquoise to give more brightness and vibrancy to the feathers because I want to improve the saturation levels. Furthermore, I added these colors on top of the white highlights. I also use some darker blue to deepen the shadow parts. I start to draw the oranges part with dark cadmium orange Polychromos pencil, as well as don't need to push the pencil hard because we can use solvent again to blend the colors. If you add more layers, then the drawing will look more kind of smooth and you really do get rid of that grainy look. So just look at the reference photo and look the different clumps of the feathers and how they go and how they layer on top of each other, where the shadows are, where the highlights are, and the direction they going in. So once I added all the colors, I went again with the white pencil just to use that on the really bright areas, and I pressed quite hard. I erased the graphite line as I did before and used the black pencil to draw the shadowed part. I use a little bit more pressure because I will use blue colors top of the black. If I'm ready with the black, I complete these feathers sections with grey colors as well. And then I continue with the yellow pencil and making the first layer of this section. If I create too much yellow colors, I can easily use a razor to fix the mistake. I use a Caran orange pencil to make the colors more vibrant and building the layers with the blue colors before I blend them. Then again I'm going in with the black again to just hype up the contrast and make sure the shadows are as dark as they need to be. So again, I'm using the zested solvent to blend in the colors. I use a larger brush than before. We need to wait the drying, and after that I will continue with the tree. I use some brown and orange colors with yellow and black. When I'm making a drawing, I always try to compare it with the reference photo and just look in where is the highlights and where is the shadows. Then again, I blend the colors with the solvent. After, when it's dried, I start to build the next layer. I use black pencil to create the shadow parts. I try to add every small details to the feather with the white pencil. I love using solvent and this technique because the drawing looks like as a painting and it gets rid of all of that graininess, and I like that I can layer many different colors on the top again, as well as we can add light colors over the top of the dark areas, and this is the reason why I love using solvent when I'm drawing. I continue to render this blue color to the feathers. I make sure my pencils are nice and sharp, and I analyze the direction that the texture is going in. I am working on the tree as well with some brown Polychromos pencils, and I blend the colors again with solvent. It starts to look realistic, but later I will use the white pencil to make a fluffy feather texture. So again I let this dry, and now I'm going in with the white pencil to pull out the details and create the highlights. I applied these white highlights exactly the same way as I did in the head part. I create small soft lines in the directions of the feathers. I continue to add some more tones and colors to the tree, mainly I use brown colors. So I'm just building the layers on the tree and using the white pencil again to add the highlights. If you have any ideas for future videos that you would like me to do, then just pop a comment below and I will see what I can do for you. Finally, I will use Sakura Gear Rolly Pen to make the most vibrant lights. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, click on the bell and turn on the notifications, and you are gonna learn more about drawing techniques and tips by using colored pencils. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.